Learning Center. I'm Coach Mark Evans. We have 6 different video categories for you in our Evans Coaching YouTube channel for you. It's swimming, cycling, and running, a workout whiteboard, question and answer, and also dryland training. Each one of these are focused specifically on helping you improve your technique doing each of the disciplines. Today's video category is cycling and pedaling technique and the assessment of that technique using a Computrainer, using the software that's provided by the Computrainer company. And specifically, I'm going to talk about the use of the Polar Graph in the challenge software instead of a bar graph version that's available, or the bar graph display. The Polar Graph is a much better tool for analysis of the forces that you're applying both bilaterally, left and right side, throughout the pedaling stroke. And I'll insert video clips as I'm going along here of that software and what it looks like to do it properly, and also pointing out asymmetries within the software or within the analysis of the client that I'm working with on the video that I'm inserting. What you want to do is you want to hit your display until you get to the polar graph. So you go from the bar graph to the polar graph, which is a 360-degree view of the left and the right side of the pedaling axis. Specifically, or more directly, I focus on 3 key areas of that polar graph and the corresponding data that is provided by Computrainer. The left and right side percentages on the ATA, or the average torque angle, are very important numbers. And what we look for there is that torque angle to be 90 to 100. 90 being A level or elite and pro level, and 100 being more like a B minus to C level. Anything over 100 degrees on that average torque angle is inefficient. And if I can get an athlete to be close to 90 to 95, I'm very happy with that. You know, if you had your seat height was 5 centimeters too high, or 5 centimeters too low, or 5 centimeters too far forward or too far back, it's going to affect your average torque angles or your peak torque angle as you're pedaling through the stroke. So the fit is very important. So it's extremely important that you get a professional fit on your bike. And I like to make sure that mobility, flexibility, and strength are part of the fitting process. One company that I like a lot is Wobble Knot in terms of their musculoskeletal and evaluation in combination with fitting you to the bike. Seems to work pretty well. The next area that we look at is the Spinscan number. And this is a number, 100 being perfect 100. So you're going to get a number that's equivalent to your efficiency and a very useful and predictable number as you go through it. If your average torque angles are between 90 and 95 or thereabouts, then your Spinscan numbers are probably going to be 75 or above. And what we can use is we can use those 2 numbers to evaluate fit and any changes or improvements that we make in the foot and cleat interface, and also technique. And technique affects hugely the kinds of forces that you're applying to the pedal. It affects that immensely. the Spinscan and your average torque numbers. And correspondingly, you can see RPMs and miles per hour, and additionally, not as important, but you can see watts as well. But in terms of coaching, what we're looking at is we're looking at how to get your average torque angles to be closer to 90 to 95, and your Spinscan numbers to be above 70. 70 would be the B minus C, and 85 plus is going to be an A rating. So we need to get athletes fitted properly, but then also conducting or applying technique properly, and making sure that they have the mobility and flexibility within their limbs to make proper hip extension and flexion, as well as plantar and dorsiflexion of the lower leg, the ankle joint. So it's important to get those areas assessed. What I like to have people do, and I've had another video where I talk about pedaling technique, but we see higher Spinscan numbers when the focus on the stroke is more upon the overstroke to about 3 o'clock. So roughly 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock is where the focus should be in terms of higher pedal pressure and focus, bilaterally, left side, right side. So it gives the athlete a point of focus. And a lot of times that is from the seat tube to the down tube on this angle. Then that should get you roughly from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. The rest of the pedaling stroke, the remaining of the downstroke, the backstroke, and upstroke are more transitional areas. You don't want to have a huge amount of force going through the rest of those areas. More just a steady focus and a steady emphasis through the remaining downstroke, the backstroke, and the upstroke. What you want is bilaterally to make 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then unweight after 3 o'clock. You don't want to push all the way down and through, and that's when we get these really high numbers. We get these 75, 80, 85, 88, even sometimes 90 Spinscans, and average torque angles at or around 90 to 95. And that's where you can use the Computrainer to, I believe that's the chief benefit of the Computrainer, is to assess, almost like using biofeedback, is to use that Computrainer to improve your ATAs. And most people that I coach who have Computrainers, I will have them do what I call ATA sessions. And they're simply on the Computrainer for 15 or 20 minutes, working to try to get those spin numbers, or the Spinscan numbers and the average torque angle numbers that I've talked about. And it doesn't really matter what gear you're in, whether you're in your smallest or lowest gear or your highest gear, you should still be able to get those Spinscan and average torque angle numbers. So make sure that if you have an opportunity to use a Computrainer, I would use it to assess the pedaling technique first before you start using some of the other racing software or course profile softwares. I think that's going to be your biggest benefit, to get your technique down, make sure your fit's good, and also be sure to get your mobility, flexibility, and strength assessed as well as part of that. And again, hoping that this video helps you make all of your pedaling movements better than the last. I'm Coach Mark Evans, and we sure appreciate you visiting our YouTube Evans Coaching channel. And thanks again for subscribing. Take care.